going to take around $7,000 to repair, to get it back up and running correctly. I don't think it's worth dumping $7,000 in a 2016 Ford Explorer that's got 130,000 miles on it. I found a program through Missouri Highway Patrol. They get rid of their vehicles at roughly 75,000 miles that still have warranties. They come with a full light package. So our public works guys could have a truck for $29,000 with full lights to be able to notify anybody when they're working on the roadway. And also both of them are volunteer firefighters, so they could respond to medical calls in the truck or to the fire station and grab a fire truck when we get a fire call.
Okay. Any questions?
Well, I mean, what's the overall condition of that other vehicle that needs $7,000 work? I mean, other than, what is the engine work?
Yeah, they need to, what is it? The timing chain in that 3.5. Yeah, fell. Also the overall condition of it is pretty poor. I mean, it's.
Yeah, and that 7 can sometimes be 8 or 9 with that kind of.
Correct.
Had that done my road.
Okay.
What's the plan for the SUV that was donated?
Purple Wave, we're looking at roughly $2,000-3,000, maybe.
Okay. We don't have to give that, or do we need to give that back to the county?
No, but we would need to put it back into the PWA for some reimbursement on this truck.
Okay. All right. So, so do we also need to authorize that vehicle to be surplused in?
You have already authorized that last month.
Okay, thank you. All right, I don't have any questions to ask on this. Again, it's a truck. What was the make model?
Ford F-150, it's a 2022, is that correct?
Okay. All right, and JC, you guys think that'll get you guys what you need to do? Okay, great. All right, nothing for me. I'll make a motion to approve as written.
Buzz, Jimmy, John,
Yes.
James Andrew.
Yes.
And carried to.
Thank you. Just to clarify on the reappropriation, are we pulling that as the plan,
From the capital improvements?
capital improvements?
Yes, sir. I will need to reappropriate it on the budget as well, just to.
Yeah, that's what this is saying, that we'll
Yes.
reappropriate money, as you said, from the capital improvement fund to, I guess, repairs and maintenance. I don't know which fund it would go through. Actually, it's in the same, it's in the same bucket. We're not reappropriating it from, say, police to, okay. All right. So in the clear there. Nothing else from me. Thank you. Action 4B, consideration of possible action regarding authorization for Mr. Collins to purchase a water meter and install the same at the corner of Eastern and Moorhead for the sole purpose of watering cattle on the approximately 9-acre tract, with said water tap to be for livestock use only and not for any building or structure. So we have a letter from Mr. Collins. Mr. Collins, do you have anything to say?
Well, I have had some interest in the property, and one of the main questions is, does it have water?
Okay. Mhm.
So it will be good for future development. Have water.
Okay. So in this letter, you estimate to be about 6,000 gallons per month. It's about 200 gallons per day. I think that's fairly consistent with what a home uses. Is that accurate? Doing it? I'll put it on the spot. Okay.
JC?
You know what? Okay. Do you have any questions or comments? JC, could you give us a quick rundown of where we are with our water state today and,
So we're not filling it as quickly as we normally do. It's getting a lot slower. That would be my only concern with this. We're gonna have 10 days straight. That's 10 days. So that would be my concern with this as far as that is. And later on, like in winter time, something like that, we probably shouldn't be just fine.
Okay.
Right now, I mean, yeah.
Mr. Collins, when do you plan on putting livestock?
Within the 30 days.
So you need that immediately, to be working on. We haven't been approached with this type of request yet. One thing that concerns me is the availability of water for fire suppression. With the current users that we have, does the staff have an opinion on should we go?
If Mr. Collins is only going to use it for the cattle and not for future economic growth, I think it would be fine. When he came into my office, he talked about it for the cattle on the property. Right now, Fire Chief Brazil and I had a conversation last week about how our water tower is sometimes sitting, 40, 50,000 gallons of water. We're one bad house fire away from being detrimental to the town. God forbid something were to happen at the school, we're really, really hurting then. I know we can shuttle water in from other places, but as the fire chiefs in the room know, that takes a lot of time, a lot of manpower, and a lot of resources. So if we're only using it for cattle, I don't have any problem with it whatsoever. If we're using it, I would put a stipulation on it that future economic growth would be
Yeah.
Maybe until we get the,
water
tower
tower.
and all that stuff.
Once we get the water tower, we'll be
Right,
fine.
right.
Yeah.
So I guess, Mr. Collins, my ask from you is that if we do approve this, that you could put some sort of valve to prevent it from, like say, you turn it on and leave, that turns off after so much time, or a float valve of some kind to prevent it from overflowing and continuously running for all night, right? And work with the staff if there's a situation that we need to kind of modify when you're filling it up. We can work with each other on that.
Sure.
So I guess with that, do I have a motion?
Motion approved.
I will second.
Vote, Joel,
Yes.
Yes.
and Tony. Carries 2-0.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. All right, action 4C, consideration and possible approval, consideration and possible action to approve a 4% increase to the trash line item on the bill. As Veteran Waste Water Solutions has notified the town of an increase in service fee. Mr. Wanzik, will you give us a summary of this?
Yeah, we don't really have a choice on this. Veterans Waste notified us on July 27th that they would be increasing the trash service on August the 1st. So we're actually already behind.
Okay.
They increased us 3.5%, just due to the cost of fuel and other service fees. We are looking at different trash options right now. I met with Republic today in order to see what their pricing is. They were unable, I haven't had a chance to talk to you, they were unable to give us pricing today. They came down and got all of our needs, exactly how many trash receptacles we have, and how many dumpsters we had, and just trying to figure out how much time and manpower it would take them. So we're waiting on a bid from them, and then I'm going to call Oklahoma Waste, is it Services or Solutions? And we're going to meet with them and try to get a bid with them and just try to stay a little bit competitive in the market.
Okay.
I have heard a significant number of complaints with Veterans Waste Solutions. So I don't necessarily know that going with another trash company isn't a good thing. I myself have several complaints with the company itself. It's very, very hard to get them to answer an email or even a phone call when you're trying to figure stuff out and figure out why somebody's trash didn't get picked up and so on and so forth.
And to clarify, this increase would be solely for trash.
Just the trash line item, nothing on the water, nothing on the sewage, nothing on the ambulance fee. So it's just what they're raising our fee.
Okay. And then my next request is going forward, regardless of who's chosen, whether we continue with veterans or a different option, is to maybe have something in agreement that has a increased schedule so that we can account for that in our budget cycle.
Fair enough, sir.
So I think last year they did the same thing, and we had to go through some renegotiations or additional discussions that they increased it after our fiscal year.
I was able to get a copy of the contract. Their contract has not been updated with the town since, Ms. Riviera, help me out. Is it 2015? Is that right? We have not touched or renegotiated their contract since 2015.
Okay.
So it probably needs to be done
Yeah, I think it's
anyway.
worthwhile going out for bid on multiple people for that. Okay, so with that, I'll make a motion to approve the 4% increase for trash service only.
Second.
Votes, Joe,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Tony's absent, and it carries 2-0.
Thank you. Action item 4D, consideration of possible action to establish a hard stop utility accounts with past due balances, including settling the delinquency threshold, determining the repayment amount to be added to the current bill, bringing accounts to a zero balance, establishing the effective date for implementation. So in the agenda packet, we have a list of past due balances amounting to just over 14,000. Brandon, will you please give us a summary on your asking?
Yeah, I mean, not that previous employees didn't swipe enough money from us anyway. They also had executive decision to control the water meters and determine when and how long people could be late on their water bills. I have late water bills currently that exceed $1,000. At what point does the board, I don't think it's my decision to say I've got 90 days or 180 days or whatever, but I can tell you $1,000 is a little excessive. So I want the board to tell me at what point do they want me to charge a late fee? At what point do they want me to go shut somebody's water off?
Okay.
So I just need a hard stop date. Like, do we feel comfortable at 60 days? Do we feel comfortable at 90 days? Do we want to put a dollar figure amount to it? Do we feel comfortable at $400, $500, $600? Where do y'all feel comfortable at? We have a total of, I think it's 29 water bills that are past due or overdue. The highest one is $1,286.
How many months would that be on average?
You're averaging roughly $110 per month. So, I mean,
Okay,
Yeah.
so several months.
oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We actually have, I mean, not, that's why we marked all these off, but we have one bill that has not paid since February. They did make an attempt to pay in July and the check bounced, which caused the town more money. So I understand that we have hardships, but
And the deposits don't cover, the deposits are $150, so they don't cover 1 month.
correct.
And so for regarding late fees, we have a date in here, right? That if it's paid after.
It's the 15th. Yes,
So
sir.
that's already set there. So regarding late fees, I'll say just to continue.
The 15 days.
The 15 days. So do you have any objections?
No, I mean, there's gonna be certain cases that hardships would work. I mean, we have a policy where they can come up and talk to you and work things out, or.
Well, that's what I
or we
think.
just put a hard line,
I think that's
6 months
the,
and you're.
I think that's the
done.
issue you're having right now is do you have you had an executive decision that was being made on water bills. And I will tell you, I've called around to different towns and nobody does it this way. When you talk to Goldsby, Blanchard, Purcell,
Yeah.
there's a cutoff.
You gotta have a policy.
Yeah. Mhm.
Regarding, I guess, cutoff, in that, I think it's probably best to come to the table with a proposal for people to see on the agenda. So I don't really have a clear opinion on what I think it should be. My
Okay.
default answer would be, let's look at, we talked about this, right? Look at Blanchard, Purcell, and then maybe present those in an agenda item to say, okay, here's some options of what surroundings are doing, and then here's our recommendation based on what we think is best for the town of Washington.
Correct.
Regarding cutoffs and how to catch up on those. But I have no issue with hard line, I guess, with the due date, the late payment after the 15th, being the hard stop. Because you're looking for kind of more black and white, less executive decision on that. Right. James, what do you? Thoughts on that?
What are you saying about 15th, as far as late payment?
Yeah, late payment
Fees?
Thursday. So, if
We
the
addressing
bill,
cutoff?
so I guess I'm breaking this up into two different. So one, I think in my mind, the easiest conversation is late fee. So if you pay after the 15th of the month,
Sure.
you pay the late fee of is it $10 or X percent on that. And I think that's,
Yeah, that's fair, in my opinion.
yeah, okay. And then, so then the other subject is regarding cutoffs.
Right. You want to get information.
Yeah. That they've brought this up. I just unfortunately hadn't dug deeper into it. And then
It's more information.
it's more information. We'll
Bills next month.
just reach out to us. Is that acceptable
Absolutely.
to you guys? Okay.
Something's gotta be addressed.
So, double check what the action is.
What'd you say, 29 customers, roughly 14,000?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, so there's nothing in here about due date. We already have that established in here. So I guess some question for the attorney on this would be, we don't have anything in here that specifically says whether to hold a hard line on our past due dates, the fee charged for past due. Would you suggest that we table this so that the staff can then gather some surrounding town information and recommendation, and then we address it on the next board?
Yes, I think that's the best thing, so then we know it's gonna come up at the next board meeting.
Okay, so do we need a motion, do we need a vote on tabling it, or?
Yeah, I would go ahead and do a
Make a
vote
motion.
on it and just move to table it to the next session.
Okay, all right, so I'll make a motion to table action item 4D regarding past due balances for the next regular scheduled meeting.
Vote Joe,
Yes.
Jenny.
Yes.
Here, here's the.
And I'll do more to make sure I'm prepared for this too. Okay. Thank you. Action item 4E, discussion and possible action regarding the discovery that certain cemetery lots were previously sold by former employees that should have remained as alleyways, including a presentation by Colin Hardcastle on the matter and potential next steps. Mr. Hardcastle?
Colin had to go home sick today.
Okay.
We may need to say a little prayer for him. But what I can tell you is previous administration was selling, we've had numerous people come in. There are 4 spaces to a plot. People are coming in to a lot. I'm sorry, thank you. People are coming in and they have 5 spaces to a lot. And so what Colin has figured out is we're selling the 4 to each lot, and then we're also selling the 4-foot alleyway. I think as of right now, we only have 2 people buried in those alleyways. But I think we're wanting to know what the board wants to do. I'll let him present it next month.
Okay.
But just have that on your mind. Do we want to try to refund people money back for that 5th space? Do we want to let them go ahead and bury in the alleyway? What do we want to do there?
Some of my questions might be, is it in the same alley or are these scattered between different alleys?
You're talking all the ones sold?
Yeah.
They are scattered throughout the entire cemetery.
And then if the people that own those, is there a spot just right outside that alley on either side that they?
Most of the time, there's not.
All right. I guess we'll see what Mr. Hardcastle has to say
Yes, sir.
next time. Any questions? Okay, so I will on this also make a motion to table action item 4E to next regular scheduled board meeting in September. Presented by Paul.
Sir.
Vote Joe.
Yes,
Here's 2-0.
thank you. Action item 5, town administrator staff updates, public works report presented by Public Works Director, JC.
So general maintenance for public works, we respond to 11 locate requests, from located one. We mowed around the cemetery property, we also moved the water towers, well sites, and the park, and senior citizens. M&M Tree Services came and worked around the shop down there by the ball fields, got them all cleaned up. We also went around and sprayed all the town properties that we could spray. Changed filters for the AC stuff at the senior citizen center. We cleared some weeds from the lift station. Primary mower went down this month, last month. We took it to the shop, they actually called today. It will be warranty work, so all we're gonna be paying is for getting the fluids changed. Just, you know, like, we replaced the starter with a second mower and got our tractor. The fall. So for the water and sewer, we completed our inspections. We changed filters weekly at the wells. We collected all of our DEQ samples. We returned it on July 1st. We repaired a water line with reconstruction and it's on Ibis on July 1st. Colin Hardcastle attended a course to get his D water and D wastewater license in passed, because he got his license there. We did have a bypass and lift station last month. That was due to a power outage on Highway 39 that affected us. Rush pump came out and worked on the lift station. We did have the pump go down. We got that all fixed for it. Colin went to a sewer backup on Truman. Determined that it was on the homeowner's side, but we went ahead and get that fixed and get that back up and going. We had a leak on Moorhead that was apparently on the homeowner's side. Got that point in the record, did that repaired. These things came and worked on our data system and power and lift station. Hydrant technicians came out and fixed 3 of our hydrants, got them back up and going. We completed our monthly meter reading. The total amount of water that we made was 2.2 million gallons of water. Our average daily usage was 73,000. Our highest usage was 92,000. The lowest usage was 53. And our loss was 906,000 gallons of water. That could be anything from meters going bad and us not getting the appropriate readings. So I'm going to contact the ORWA and see if they can figure out where that loss is actually coming from. We really do have something going on. Okay. That's all I got for you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Have we started in conversations with, or WA, I think it is, have we started inquiring about rate studies?
No, we haven't.
We have one ordered.
We do.
Yeah, should be. They are waiting on a grant. They said 2 weeks for the grant to get here. Our last rate study was in 2024, but Ms. Riviera and I ordered one when we were down at the ASCOG grant class. Was it 2 weeks ago? 2 or 3 weeks ago. But it has been ordered. They're aware that we want one. They're just waiting on the grant funding to go ahead and start it.
So we're averaging 70,000 gallons a day that we considered, and then we hold 90,000 completely full.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. I knew that, but I was just making sure.
Hey, thank you. All right, cemetery report presented by Colin Hardcastle, who's absent, so we will move on. With that, do I have a motion to, or I'll make a motion to adjourn as all action items have been addressed. Second. Yeah, but do we vote on? Regular meeting adjourned. Okay, moving into regular board meeting agenda. So we'll call this meeting to order. It is 6:28. Please take roll call.
Mayor Trustee Jones here.
Here.
Trustee Jane Andrews.
Here.
Trustee Thomas.
Absent. All right, will everyone please rise with me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3B, any proclamations or presentations? No. From me? Bring me anything? No. Okay. Item 4, consent agenda. Do you have anything you'd like to remove from the consent agenda? On here, we have special meeting minutes from last board meeting, Public Works, contract with CPA Michael Green for agreed upon procedures audit, and to approve Sherry Rivera's second authorized signature for Town of Washington checks.
No.
All right. I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda as written. Yes? All right. Action item 5A, consideration of possible approval, denial, amendment, or revision of proposal to submit to the voters at November 3rd, 2026 general election, the question of changing the composition of the town board of trustees from 3-member board to a 5-member board. So this was brought up during last board meeting. We decided to table it to James, for you to also voice some of your thoughts and opinions on this as well. Tony had concerns about moving to a 5-member board, largely because we have planning commission board of adjustments that we don't have a full board yet with. I expressed that it's a recurring request from people that would move to a 5-member board. It comes with its advantages and disadvantages. Most towns are a 5-member board. Doesn't necessarily mean it's what's right for Washington, but it does allow for the board members to consult each other. Obviously, we cannot form a consensus or build votes, but James, what's your thoughts?
I'm for the 5-member board. I was from the beginning, mainly because I'm coming in without any knowledge or experience but I also understand now that I've been here a little while that it's hard to get people that will attend and be serious. So, when you can't fill out, I don't know. I still favor the 5-member board, and we need to, do the work to get some people to commit, that will fill those spots. That's my opinion. I understand that you can have problems with it, and you may elaborate on that, but I don't like the fact that I can't call you and say, what do you think about this? And it just seemed silly to me when I got on here that I couldn't call and visit about what's going on or what do you think about it. I understand the law, but just seems like to me that you get better decisions made.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
In recent news, I'm not sure if anybody heard about an audit that recently happened. The board members had no ability to talk to each other back then. And that's kind of a point of case in my mind that this does, by having 5, could that have been prevented? Maybe not. But there is a little bit more conversation that comes with it. It is not by any means an open book for the board members to discuss and especially take action on anything. It still has to come to a meeting. And the reason that I put this on here is for it to go to a vote to the residents of the town of Washington is that a little over a year ago, the board voted to go to a 5-member board. This was for your election. We didn't have enough people that signed up for that election. So we went back to 3-member board because I also don't necessarily feel like we should, when we move to a 5-member board, the board should be also appointing those new people, because once they're in, most likely it's hard to unseat a existing person just based on typical background. So
you're basically saying if we didn't have enough bottom for the vote, then we'd be appointing people.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, we're just then we're just appointing people that are like-minded, similar. Not that we're appointing the people
Not
who
doing that.
came to our table versus somebody who is deeply passionate about a specific subject. So with that, my proposal is that this would be kind of the last time that we approach this conversation in a while, is if the public says they do want 5-member board, then we stick with it. And if nobody goes through the election process, then the board appoints people to those seats. But if they say they want us to stay at a 3-member board, stay at a 3-member board.
Do you do a survey? Have you done these things as far as people in town to see how many people may be interested? Is that something you can do as far as running for position before you
We haven't.
vote that? Otherwise you're appointing people.
Yeah, that's something, so to answer your question, we have not yet done that. One thing that could happen as part of this is to say, who would be interested in being on that board? And we can release more information about some of the advantages or towns that operate as a 3-member board. But I think it's worth putting it up for election for people to give their formal opinion on.
They'll have an opinion.
Yeah.
You just may not want to participate.
Speaking of opinions, I'll open it up to if there's anybody here that wants to say something about it or against. Once or twice. Okay. All right. So with that, I would like to make a motion to approve we don't have a resolution here. Is that, all right, another question for the attorney now that what are we approving? For an election to occur, do we have to have a resolution submitted to the election board in order for that to go on?
Yes, so you will need to have confirmation with the election board. I'm guessing the question is if we don't already have one, we need to do that. So you guys don't already have an election plan for anything else on November 3rd?
correct. We each heard. Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll need to work with the election board to have that date established.
Okay, but can we approve for a resolution to be submitted for this to be, okay, all right. So
I need approval.
you do? Okay, so I guess I'm gonna make 2 parts here. Motion, let me talk through this, Sherry, and then I'll re-say it on what the motion is. So motion 5A1 would be to authorize Administrator Brandon Wanzik to work with the McLean County Election Board for the town to hold an election November 3rd during the general election. All right, so that's check box number 1. And then motion part 2
For me to submit a resolution.
for Mr. Wanzik to submit a resolution for an election to be held November 3rd during the general election for the residents of the town of Washington to approve the town board of trustees to expand from 3 members to a 5-member board. If you wouldn't mind repeating that back once you get done writing.
Motion 5A, Brandon, to work with the election board to hold a general election for the changing from 3 to 5 of the town's people from on 11/3/26. And 5A2, Brandon to submit a new resolution on for 11/3/26, the general election to for the people to vote on that.
Okay.
On from 3 to 5.
That good for you?
Yeah, I think the first one, we just need to say that we're approving that resolution. I think that was the
Okay.
part, so I think we're good. We're approving to prepare a resolution.
Okay, we're approving to prepare a resolution that will be submitted by Administrator Wanzik. Okay.
Second.
Oh, so,
Yeah.
And that's Joe,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Tony is absent, carries 2-0.
Thank you. Consideration and possible action regarding performance evaluation of Town Administrator Brandon Wansink, including a review of the following criteria. 1, facilitation of tangible progress on the new water tower standpipe project. 2, implementation of a tangible progress on updating zoning regulations. 3, presentation and facilitation of adoption of the FY 26-27 budget, including successful adoption of new financial management software. And 4, acceptable standards of performance on all areas. So it is up for us to decide if Brandon exceeds expectation, meets expectations, does not meet expectations. So part of Administrator Wanzik's employment agreement was within 180 days, we would hold a performance evaluation with Brandon to determine if he's meeting these criteria and determine if the bonus structure, the first payment of his pay change goes into effect, $2,500. So with that, I will go into these, and then if you have any questions, want to make any statements, you're welcome to. All right, number 1, facilitation of tangible progress on new water standpipe. So Mr. Wanzik has successfully convinced our federal legislators to approve a $3 million line item as part of their federal appropriation budget. That is still up in the air to be approved. It has to go before the House and to the Senate to be approved. So there's no saying on when that will be approved or if it will go down. Some of the good news that we've heard since getting that commitment from them is that the amount that we requested has not gone down. Other towns and organizations, their amounts, most of them have gone down. Ours actually went up a few $100s, so that's a good sign. And then also regarding our FDA loan, we put that on pause with the hopes of federal appropriations being awarded. If it's not, we can always open back up that USDA loan and go back down that track. So
Do we need to, I don't know if this is the place to have this conversation, but do we need that Plan B to be fully established on what we're ready to do if that doesn't happen? So we're not 6 months longer trying to figure out what Plan B is? I mean,
Plan B with the
can we,
USDA.
can we afford that, and have we determined that $3 million job is what we need and can afford, if that's Plan B? I mean, is that what we're discussing, or is that something?
Plan B is to go back to the USDA loan. I think you're asking two different questions.
Yeah.
Can we afford the USDA loan, and should we afford the USDA loan, are two very different questions. The USD loan is about a $15,000 a month repayment plan. The simple answer of can we afford it? Yes, we can. It would really put us in a strain.
So is that Plan B though? I
That-
mean,
as of right now,
we would
that
go
is-
with $3 million water tower.
Oh, absolutely not. We have actually we just started talking with a new
Okay.
engineering firm today. Actually was on the phone with them today, but we met with them this Monday or last Monday. Mondays are running together. Taft and Hull, is that correct?
Yes.
We met with an engineering firm called Taft and Hull. Next Friday, I'm meeting with one called Nichols and Freeze in hopes of redesigning the water tower project and possibly getting that cost down a little bit.
Yeah, it'd be nice to, if we have time, of course, we're gonna hear in February, is that right, or something like that? When are we gonna
Should
do
hear January, February.
on the
Yes, sir.
grant? So we'll have time to hash that out, but we should come up with a Plan B that we feel like we can afford, that will, even if it won't solve the problem for 25 years, if it'll solve it for 10,
Yeah.
and we can afford it. In other words, try to figure out what makes sense and be ready with that Plan B if this doesn't,
Yes, sir.
I mean, agree?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. So I think Brandon's on the right track with exploring an alternate option that maybe lower the cost potentially. And consulting with additional engineers. Right now, we just have one engineering report. I think it's worthwhile getting a couple opinions on it. And then the goal is to, whether that's in conversation with Brandon, is to begin, once we have a firm grasp and agreement on what the design is going to be, having that shovel ready. So once the money is released, we're not then looking to go out for bids, start that process that second that money hits the bank account, it's ready to
And
go.
what was that capacity of that?
300,000 gallons.
And we would continue to use the 90,000 gallon tower.
Not only will we continue to use it, but once we get a new one up and running, we can shut down our old one, go in and clean it
Right.
out. So
Makes sense.
capacity would actually increase. Thought is.
That's all, man. I was just trying to.
No questions.
Yeah.
And this new water tower, it will get us just to where we are, our needs on it today. It's not addressing any future development. So,
So you're saying that particular, and how you base that on what recommendations are as far as your
Through the engineering
storage
reports.
versus what we use? So that's normal? So what we would have installed would just put us to normal capacity for the amount of usage we have?
yeah, and also when that engineering report was done, we didn't have any of the SCADA data that we do today. A lot of it was based on assumptions.
So you'll have.
Now we'll have 2 years worth of data
Right.
to give to them on how much is produced out of the well, what are we seeing going out the door, and what a little bit more scientific guesstimates on
Being
water.
accurate.
Yes.
What we need.
Yes. All right. So again, I think with the standpipe project, getting that federal appropriation grant is, in my opinion, exceeding expectations. We didn't think that was going to be a possibility. And schmooze the right people, rub shoulders with the right person. All right. Implementation of intangible progress on updating zoning regulations. So I'd say there hasn't been any progress on this, and the reason is due to well, one, Brandon getting caught up on everything, the audit coming through, and then staff changes.
We have the commercial ready to go.
Okay.
We will push it out to the town in October. The way that last conversation we had, we're going to do it in sections, right?
Okay, yeah.
And
thank
so
you.
commercial is completely done. That would be our downtown area, our Main Street area. We have it ready to go. I mean, I could push it out tomorrow if you wanted, but
Thanks for reminding that. So that rings a couple bells that we're on that. So what we discussed around zoning regulations, still working with, his name's escaping me, Civics Dynamics,
Larry Curtis.
Larry Curtis. And he has prepared that historic downtown commercial district zoning regulations. So that will go before the planning commission. There'll be 30 days between, well, one, it'll go before the planning commission for review and public opinion. The planning commission will give their recommendation. That will then show up on, we'll have it during our next regular meeting for immediately following that planning commission meeting, say on the same month. Then before the board makes a decision, it will go before the board at the next regular meeting. So the reason is I don't want to rush a decision and give people opportunity to absorb the information that's being presented and ample opportunity to discuss it. So they'll be presented to them, to the public and the planning commission prior to and during that meeting. There'll be another opportunity for people to discuss and provide feedback to the board immediately following that meeting. And then the next month's regular meeting, we'll make a decision based on that.
And that's on commercial.
Yeah, the commercial. And once we've addressed that, then we'll move on to agricultural, and then lastly on to residential sometime in the second quarter of next year. And then once we get deeper into those, we'll have more surveys that come out and gain.
You think the civic dynamics, I know that Michael was one of the, you familiar with them?
Yeah, I was familiar with them. We entered into we agreed to a 6-month extension and we told him that continuation of that contract is contingent on his performance for these next 6 months. And so he knows that if he does not deliver on what's been requested from him in regards to planning and zoning, as well as grant writing support, we do not plan to continue using him. So he's on notice
Okay.
on that, seeing how things went the last go around. So, but he still comes recommended. And has he been? What's your opinion on?
After you and I had the conversation with him that he wasn't getting his new contract, he's been great. It's funny how that works.
Okay. So, opinion on expectations?
Yeah,
on
see,
that? Okay. Presentation and facilitation of adoption of FY 26-27 budget, including successful adoption of new financial management software. So regarding the new financial management software, has decision been made? I think what we've gone to what's their name? A Clarion, and asked for 3 options from them. One being we end the agreement contract with them. 2, we continue as is. They provided support as our negotiated contract. 3, we push pause on it and we evaluate it next week. I assume that will come to the board. Does the board need to make, or you make that decision? Okay. So the decision has been that we're going to go ahead and end that agreement for this calendar year, give the staff an opportunity to get caught up on QuickBooks and reestablish some transparency and standardization on that before considering moving into other software tools. So we're going to stick with the software that people are familiar with and how to use.
Does everyone here understand what we're doing?
Okay, thank you. You want to explain?
Well, I don't understand it like fully, but we implemented a different software when Michael was here, right? Am I
Yeah.
wrong? And it came recommended. I think he was familiar with the system, right?
He was not.
He was not. Okay. Well, either way, it was pretty expensive, but it was
It was
sold to us that it really needed to be done so that if we ever audited or we'd have our ducks in a row. Right? Go ahead.
Yes. So I guess
I'm running.
I'll shed some light onto what the software is and why and how we got here. And if you want to talk about pass on next steps on that. So Clarion was a software that was found by Micah Lunt. As part of that software, it was presented to us that this software was needed in order to properly prepare for financial audits are coming out. It also had a whole slew of additional functions or modules that were included in it, with inventory management, some ledgers, accounting, budget planning. There was about 11 different modules, but what we were going to initially only need or use currently was probably about 3 or 4 of those to replace and try to move away from QuickBooks. And what I think the staff or the board has told the staff is that, you know, we define what needs to be done. It's up to the staff on how they plan to get there. And so we've supported the staff on the digital tools that they need to get their jobs done, as well as the hardware tools that need, i.e. a new truck. So in moving, transitioning away from Micah, what Brandon has found is that at least for the cost of the software and to get people trained up, 1 is going to be higher than what was originally budgeted. And 2, the software is not used by neighboring municipalities to be able to benchmark utilization off of for at least for the state of Oklahoma. That we had commitment from the software provider that they would support us through this, and their goal is to, you know, kind of enter this Oklahoma market through us. But again, with the transition of staff, we found that our expertise is not in implementing new software with QuickBooks. And then once we've established that baseline we can then have maybe be in a different position to go a different direction. So, right, kind of talk about what you've done and what you've done.
It was more than we needed.
First
Yes.
off, I commend you for saying my expertise in QuickBooks, because by no means do I have any expertise.
So
in
below
accounting.
expectations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But what I can do is I can hire the QuickBooks experts who know what they're doing. QuickBooks costs us $115 a month. A Clarion costs us $12,800 a year. So a little bit over $1,000 a month. We have roughly 750 residents in our town. I have a really hard time thinking that we need an accounting software that's going to cost us $12,800 a year for a town that's 750. Also, since we ended the contract with our auditor who was doing our agreed upon procedures that goes to the state auditors, we're late on his audit. I have since started contacting different auditors around the state who informed me that we could have software. There are 4 or 5 of them out there that are a little bit better than QuickBooks and have a little bit more municipality function for about $200 to $250 a month. And when I told them the price that we were going to pay for this Clarion software, they kind of gasps.
It had never been used in Oklahoma,
It's
correct?
still not being used in
Right.
Oklahoma.
Only Texas.
Florida and Texas, and they're currently being sued out of Florida for failure to produce.
We were gonna be the test. basically.
That is correct. And so I just think to manage the town's money in a better light, we should look at other options. The way we do that is we remain with QuickBooks for the next year. We find the program that works best for us, because the auditors are saying QuickBooks can be utilized by a town to do its accounting software, but it shouldn't be utilized by a town to do its accounting software. It doesn't have enough fail-safes for municipal government.
Can I jump in real quick?
Absolutely.
Another unique thing about municipal government is we use fund accounting, which was different than how a business may be ran. And so because of fund accounting, and don't stay in surface level here, I don't know all the details of this, but because of fund accounting, QuickBooks is not set up in a way to manage fund or manage monies in a fund accounting process. So in order to achieve this accounting practice that municipalities, state government mandates on us, you have to modify or adjust how you use QuickBooks, in which it wasn't designed for. So that's a reason why QuickBooks, that's why we're talking about QuickBooks so much, is that a lot of people know how to use it, but it does require some modifications that it's not built for.
So we're not necessarily not going to use a Clarion. We are just putting a hold on everything for a year. We will figure out what is the best option moving forward for us over the next 12 months, and then we will proceed from there. That is going to include working with somebody who can help us do the software. What I've found is accounting is a niche that is super specific. But we'll get there.
Yeah. So the goal, I think, is, hopefully this next board meeting coming up next month, that we'll get back into the routine of the detailed financial reports. If we were to stick with Clarion, that could be several months from now. So the goal is, again, when I was saying earlier, is that the board defines what needs to be done. The staff decides how to get there. They determine that in order to get to the transparency that's expected, we need to go back to QuickBooks at the moment, first pause, reset ourselves. So I think it's a good decision.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, number 4, yes, ma'am. Yes, yeah. We paused, right?
We've bought out of our contract at 10% of what we would have owed.
Yeah. So they let us, always, I will say about this software, this organization, they have been great to work with. They understand the situation we're in, and they did not, I don't believe they stuck it to us for getting out of this contract. So they were very understanding. They want to be a part of the solution. And we've agreed that we'll consider them and talk with them again once we come back around to our process. So, but yes, we're out. Okay. And then acceptable standards of performance in all areas. You are meeting and exceeding expectations. Do you have any words of advice or things that you need to do differently?
I don't know this job. Could do my job.
Yeah. Brandon, I think you've done a tremendous job with the cards that have been dealt to you over the past, what, 5 months? Yeah, 5 months. Continue doing great things. I think now you have a staff that's fully knowledgeable and capable of doing their things. Rely on them, let them do what they do best and what they're hired to do, and then you can start working on the next thing that's downstream so that it's all teed up ready for them to take on. So thank you. So with that, I will make a motion to, so I will make a motion to approve the first performance increase for Mr. Wanzik of $2,500.
Second.
Vote, Ms. Joel,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
and Brandon's not here. It carries 2-0.
Thank you. Any last words?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Although I think my Facebook page is pretty rocking.
Yeah. That is exceeding an expectation. All right. 5C, consideration of possible action regarding the Oklahoma Municipal Retirement Fund item, including approval, amendment, or denial of the following ordinance. An ordinance amending the employee retirement system defined contribution plan for the town of Washington and the Washington Public Works Authority, Oklahoma, providing retirement benefits for eligible employees of the town of Washington and Public Works Authority, Oklahoma, pertaining to contributions by participants pertaining to contributions by employer, providing for employer pickup of required contributions, providing for appeal and serviceability. So, Brandon, we give everybody a summary of what this is.
There are several movements in this. The first movement is going to move all town employees from a post-tax contribution to a pre-tax contribution. The reason that had not previously been done, when you move to a pre-tax contribution, MRF says that each employee must put in at least the 6% that the town is matching. Previously, not all of our employees were putting in 6% to their retirement fund. I now have a set of employees that are all contributing, if not 6%, more than 6% to their retirement fund, because they're all focused on a better life after this town and in retirement. So that is a simple wording change in this. Most towns are doing it. He was actually very supportive. He was kind of shocked that we weren't doing it, but he said that he had had the conversation with Micah and knew why we weren't doing it. The second portion of this, and I just want to point out that every firefighter in here, we've got 7 firefighters sitting in this room. So this is super important to each and every one of them because it could be life-changing to every one of them. The second portion of this, when MRF was sitting in my office, the gentleman made the mistake and said, "Hey, do you have any other questions?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely. I've got a bunch." So I listed off a few, and the biggest one was, is there any way I can put my volunteer firefighters on a city government retirement plan? And he said, "Well, I don't know. Nobody's ever asked that question." I said, "Well, I'm asking it. Can you make some phone calls?" So we made some phone calls, and the short answer is yes, we can. They cannot be added to that retirement program in the capacity that they're in right now as a 1099 employee. We would have to move them to a W-2 employee. It doesn't change anything for the town other than 1099 to W-2. What it changes for them is pre-tax versus post-tax. They're not paying tax on the 1099 they paid at the end of the year when they go to pay their taxes. On a W-2, they would have taxes taken out of their actual paycheck.
Is the run money, sorry to interrupt, is the run money taxed?
That's the 1099. It's not right now, but it would be.
You don't have to pay in your normal taxes.
You do at the end of the year when you go to file your taxes. You get a 1099 slip. No, the town does not.
Yeah, but the firefighters, you guys pay tax on your run.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what this would do more specifically, I want to be upfront and honest. It's going to cost the town some money. This would change every firefighter to a W-2 employee, and it would allow them to put 100% of their run checks into the OK MRF plan. The city would then in turn have to match that at 6%. So it would cost the city 90 cents per call per firefighter. So if you had one firefighter show up to a call, the city is going to spend an extra 90 cents. What that does for every one of our firefighters, though, is it allows them to put their run checks into a retirement fund. Justin Taylor sent me a text message earlier today that said, if you only put $1,000 in and you put it in there for 20 years at a very conservative 7.5% interest rate, you will walk out of there with $41,000. What I have done in the math on is if a 20-year, and what I want to emphasize this, we are looking at this for not only recruitment, but retention. So we are looking at hiring young firefighters and keeping them for the next 25 years. Remind you, if we do this, we will be one of the only fire departments in the entire nation that has given their employees this type of benefit. So if a 20-year-old firefighter starts the Washington Fire Department and he invests $1,000 for 25 years, that means he is investing $25,000 of his earned run check money. And he waits until he is 55 to pull that money out of the 401A plan, which is non-penalized.
Then
He
we're
will-
dependent. Then we're their dependent.
Yeah. He would walk away from the Washington Fire Department with $167,000 after only putting in $25,000 of his own money. The town would have put in an extra 6%, that 90 cents per call.
Mhm.
This could be truly huge for somebody. I mean, Darlene, your son did it. $167,000 would be really nice today, wouldn't it? Right. I also want to emphasize this is not affecting guys like myself or Justin Taylor or Kenny Keith. We're already too old to really reap the benefits of this. This is going to affect your four in here, your Justin Brazils, your Brian O'Hanlons, your Scotts, and your Bonds, because they are young enough to start putting in their run checks and start putting in their money and start reaping the benefits of compound interest.
And they would be required to put in 6%.
No,
of their
sir.
own money.
No, sir. That's the deal. They don't have to do this. What they would be required to do is to change to a W-2 employee.
Okay.
So if they chose not to do this, they would just get taxes out of their run checks.
I'm reading through this, and I just didn't see anything in here about the fire department being included.
It is just considering, you're right, there's not. It
Okay,
is just
okay.
considering all part-time employees. Okay, MRF considers any employee that is a W-2 employee, a part-time employee.
I see. Okay.
That's why
So-
we have to move them to a W-2 employee.
There's no minimum hours that they have.
There
to
is no
work?
minimum hours. There is a cap. It's $72,000. And I
Okay.
promise you, if any one of the $72,000 worth of calls in a year, that
This is putting the money into the fire department.
no, this is a completely separate retirement plan. It's the OK MRF. It's a 401A. It's kind of like the 457 B plan that I had at Norman Police Department. They have control of their own money. They get to pick which stocks it's in. Whether they want to leave it in the
It's like
500.
401K.
It's almost exactly like a 401K, but it's a 401A, which is municipal government. It allows them to pull it out at 55 instead of 59 and a half. It's really about your own difference.
So does this help them? They're not gonna have to pay taxes on what they're doing. They'll pay.
It would all be pre-taxed. If all of them decide to put their entire run check in, 100% of their run check
How
would be
many taxes?
pre-taxed. No, sir.
They'll be taxed when they draw it out.
That is correct.
That makes sense.
So you have to-
Do what?
It does. without being-
I know. You're 33% taxes.
The interest rate is so high. So no way to-
No, ma'am. Been on the phone with the pension system today. This is a completely supplemental insurance plan. insurance. This is a supplemental retirement plan that they would be investing their own check money into. Chief Brazil.
I want to add to this, one of the biggest issues you hear in our chiefs meetings, even commission meetings, a couple weeks ago, we had another fire chief come in, trying to figure out how to motivate people to come in to volunteer positions. I think this is a strong step in that direction to motivate the volunteers you have and the next generation. And we will be way ahead of the curve in any other town around.
I also think this is their own reward, right? If they want to come into this fire department, it's like Chief Taylor and I were talking about. If they want to come into this fire department and make 5 calls a year worth of run money goes into their retirement fund. We get 300 calls a year. If they want to come in here and be a stellar firefighter and look at investing a lot of money in their future, make 100, 150 calls a year, which we need right now. We need people to make those calls.
It would be just the 6% of their run money.
Now, they can put it all.
They put
Well,
all.
they can put it all,
We
but-
would match it
You match
6%.
it to 6%.
Yeah.
So you would,
But they would only be required to put up 6%.
That
They would
is correct.
have to do 6%.
You don't have to do, right.
Right, because if they become an employee, the employee has to put in 6% of.
And then
their
they can
pay.
get the rest of their run check back.
Yeah, and then they can get, yes, the,
And I can set all that up in IDP.
But if you don't put it all in under W-2, you're gonna pay taxes.
That is correct.
Yeah.
just one thing I'm stuck here is that I don't see the statement or the action item for changing a volunteer firefighter policy from,
I don't
Volunteer
read
to-
that. I can change anybody from the 1099. I can hire and fire at the town. I just need y'all to approve the 6% contribution to their retirement. I just need the town to agree that they'll pay the extra 90 cents.
Would they change the volunteer pay?
9,900 per year. So what Darlene's asking is the state of Oklahoma says that if they go over 9,900, they then become a full-time firefighter. So they can't make more than 9,900 a year. I promise you, we're not going to get anywhere close to that. The topped out firefighter at Washington Fire Department, Chief Brazil, we're like 3,300.
And this is something futuristically, that number is going to go up, with that $9,500, $9,900 cap, that's going to go ahead and raise up as well. Just like our tax deduction now. A few years ago, it was $200 a year that you could get as a volunteer. Today, this year, it's $600. So that $9,900 amount will continue to climb, just like a call.
so again, in order to make this happen, to start off the year for the budget, we don't have this as included in the fund amount. So
It's-
do we
The
have?
only thing we're doing is raising their calls 90 cents. We've got $20,000 for run checks this year.
Okay,
So
Okay, so-
it's-
okay.
I don't need to change anything on the budget. The only thing I need is the town to agree to the 90 cents.
okay. All right, so that's where that money would come from, is what we already budgeted
Yes, sir.
for on the run money for the year.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, I mean, really, all we have to vote on is changing this policy, and then how you determine your staffing and making that work is within your authority.
That is correct.
So I don't have an issue with, I don't have an issue with that. I'm just making sure that we're checking all boxes
Yes,
to
sir.
make sure everything is done properly. So I guess two-part, I'll start with the firefighter part. I don't have any issues with it. They're already covered by liability
Yes, sir.
insurance through the town. From attorney's point of view, is there any employment legal ease that we should be concerned about with a volunteer firefighter being converted from 1099 to W-2? What do you?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I don't see any
Okay.
problem on the face of that.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I guess, Justin, have you talked with the staff about, with your volunteers
We
and what's
discussed
the?
this. We discussed it, that's just a proposal.
Mhm.
We had some, you know, had a discussion about we didn't do anything, yes, that's been discussed.
Okay. What was the general consensus or opinion on it in favor?
Interested in seeing they were all.
Okay. And that, would they still have the option to be either 1099 or W-2, or would it be an all or nothing?
So, so technically, yes, they would have the option to either be a 1099 or W-2. What I told them last night is I need a unanimous vote on whether you want to go W-2 or 1099, because it's a whole lot of work for me to split each one of you up differently. I mean, a whole lot of work.
So you would make the decision on what?
Yes,
direction I would go. But
Yes.
what the board is making a decision on it is changing our retirement plan that goes to a pre-taxed fund. Every employee is required to submit 6% of their pay to that. The town matches the 6%, which we've already been doing. We're not changing the percentage.
no, sir.
Correct.
No, sir.
All right. So with that,
Have we, I mean, there's no, or have you already talked to a CPA or anything about that kind of stuff? I mean, as far as paying them over, is it from an entity that employs people, technically with a W-2, there's not anything in the legalese stuff that we need to know? I mean,
Like I said, they will, yeah, there is, if they don't put 100% into their
that's it. I mean,
retirement.
nothing else as far as you're now an employee of
They're
the-
already,
of the
they're
town.
already employees. We already carry
Are you an employee if you're getting 1099?
compensation. In our policy, they are employees of the town.
I mean, I'm not against it. I'm just wondering if there's anything, is there a reason this hasn't been done that that we're not sure of?
It costs the town money,
Well, 6%, right?
correct?
Okay. I mean, that's, I'm just trying to make sure that we don't
yeah.
get into something that we say that, I don't,
So
Just-
that
it's
is
kind of hard to leave something done.
to be fair for the agenda item isn't to approve the fire department to be on.
Right.
Agenda item is to approve employees for that 6%.
Right.
And then I think for Brandon, you in the discussion
Yeah.
is one, get official decision support from the fire department in the direction they want to go. And then just check boxes, inquire if there's a risk to the town for this. One thing might be is now that they're W-2, if they're terminated from the department, or they do employment tax.
Under Oklahoma state law, you have to make at least 2,800, is that correct?
Oh, I thought it was like 4,000.
Is it 4,000? It's a number that they would not.
It'd probably be worth updating our employee handbook
Okay.
to clearly state what the benefits and allowables are, the criteria.
The unemployment, what you're talking about is, it was a number that they wouldn't.
So our thresholds are so low, it probably, none of this stuff would apply.
That is
Like a
correct.
normal W-2 would be.
That is correct.
So we might say in the policy handbook that they're not allowed to exceed this amount. Give us some thought. Just to avoid any risk that the town might have. I just want to make sure that we're checking that box. I know you think about this a lot, so. So with that, I will make a motion to approve item 5C to change the Town of Washington Employee Retirement Plan from a post-tax to a pre-tax plan, pre-tax retirement plan.
So,
Votes of Joel,
Yes.
James,
yes.
and Tony's not here, so carries 2-0.
Thank you. All right, discussion and possible action regarding an update from the town attorney on the status of legal action regarding the 2020 tax resolution company, including steps being taken to pursue the recovery of misappropriated funds. So back, or as part of the audit findings and findings prior to the town, it was perceived the town of Washington entered into a contractual agreement with a tax resolution company called 2020 Tax Resolution. This agreement was signed by County Clerk Susan Knoll. There are no known meeting minutes approving this contract. The contract was in the amount of 204,000. So we've inquired is there opportunity for the town to recover any of those funds?
So a panel of attorneys and I have discussed this issue, and our overall conclusion is that we don't think it's in the best interest of the town to pursue any claim against the tax resolution company. There's a couple issues, the main one being that in our initial review of all of the documents, we don't see a clear theory of breach that we can pursue there. There are also some other issues related to the statute of limitations that we think would most likely prevent us from recovering on most of those. Now, one of the kind of complicated issues here with the statute of limitations is that the town didn't just sign one contract for that $200,000 amount. We signed a contract and then there were separate work orders in there. So they're most likely all or almost all of those work orders would fall outside of the statute of limitations, preventing us from bringing a claim. There's a possibility that one of them might be within that timeline, but it'd be pushing it. It would be something we'd have to argue about. And overall, that amount in a single work order is a small portion of that total.
Thank you. Any questions from you?
No, but the original agreement was a lump sum of 204. Did that include all the work orders?
Yes, that's my understanding in reviewing those documents. So I think that initial amount was maybe an estimate, and then those work orders kind of broke
they're
out
all
the.
broken up. So we had several occasions that you approved.
Correct,
It's not just a one-time deal construed as misrepresentation or whatever.
There's agreements to resolve the town of Washington's back taxes, and then agreements for employees for their individual back taxes that were paid for by the town of Washington. For those issues.
Yeah, so there's a few issues here. One of the others is that it was both the. Sure, so there's a couple issues here. What I was about to say is that not only, the former clerk had approved some of those work orders, and also the former town administrator had approved some of those. So we've got several different parties involved there.
Did we ever get anything on that? Any positive reclamation or whatever?
So my understanding in reviewing those documents is that a payment plan of some sort was established with the IRS. So, I'd leave that up to you guys to determine whether that was overall a net benefit.
So part of that payment plan, when this came to light, we approached the IRS about just paying it off. The IRS declined that offer and said that to continue to pay this essential penalty.
Sure.
And that due to statutes of limitation with the past due employment tax, a lot of those will begin to expire, and that penalty will begin to decrease over time. So it's just
The initial amount of past due taxes was less than the contract of work orders we paid out for supposed reduction. So is that, how's that hold up in court?
Yeah, so.
You know what I'm saying? How does that hold up in court? If you're gonna offer to save me money on penalties and taxes and help me settle the claim, but I paid you more than I owe them, and that's not something that could be, is that a?
So ultimately, what we're looking for in a breach of contract action is the overall damages, or, a lot of times the non-breaching party is the person who's suing, and they want to be compensated for whatever work was done that they weren't paid for. So that's not the scenario we're in here. Really, courts are not going to intervene or blue line a contract just because someone agreed to something that, didn't end up being what we would view now as a fair deal, right? So the court's not going to intervene to adjust that or to rescind that on behalf, unfortunately.
So just maybe it's kind of one of those
We
the line in
have,
the sand.
we have that contract, though. It's written, the contract that she entered.
We had one of them. I don't know if we have
But
all of
does
them now.
it-
Do
does
we
it-
have all of them
Not positive to that question.
Yeah.
I know we've got, I believe, the initial contract and then at least a few of those reports. I don't know if that makes a complete picture of everything that was entered into.
And some of that is included in.
I know you can spend a lot of money pursuing that, but if, that's why we have council control. It's
What our options are.
hopeless.
Yeah. Thank you. So, no action on 5D. 5E, consideration and possible action to reappropriate up to $35,000 from excess funds in the Public Works account for the purchase of a town truck for use by the town administration, with the vehicle also to be utilized as a spare police vehicle if needed. Option B would be, option B, okay. Option B, consideration and possible action to increase the town administrator's vehicle allowance by $150 per month to offset use of a personal vehicle for the town business. So first one, item E would be to increase or to transfer those funds to pay for the truck that we just approved.
No.
No. Okay, this was the second one. Okay, we have an option to either consider buying an additional truck for the town administrator to drive, or option B, to increase the vehicle allowance from, what is it, 200 to $350 a month for use of personal vehicle. So what Brandon has brought up to me, and Brandon, I'll let you chime in here, is that his utilization of his personal vehicle is already exceeding the allowance per GSA rate. So you'd like for us to consider either one, purchasing a vehicle for him to use for town business, or two, increase the vehicle allowance to cover what he's experienced over the past few months. The alternative would be to leave it as is, and then he charges per mile. We were with former Administrator Michael Lunt. We had budgeted 500 for him. Huh? 600. Budgeted 600 for him. This would be.
But he drove an Escalade. Say it. Go ahead.
The gas mileage is the same. Brandon, do you have anything you want to add on this?
I was actually all for the truck at first. The truck is multi-purpose. Not only would I be able to drive it, Mrs. Riviera would be able to drive it. PSA Klein would be able to utilize this as a not only a reserve vehicle, but a spare police vehicle in the event one of their trucks go down or their cars go down. We have recently come into a slight, I don't know, what do you call it, JC, a catastrophe? Okay. We recently come into a slight catastrophe at the sewer lift station. And like I said, I always want to try to be a good steward of the town's money. We are looking at anywhere from $250,000 to $350,000 to repair what is currently a failing infrastructure. I just don't think purchasing, now it says up to $35,000. The truck would actually cost the exact same as the PWA truck, so it'd be $29,000. But you're talking about buying that and then still having to put gas in it for everywhere you drive.
And repairs.
Yeah. So you're 29,000 plus probably another 8 to 10,000 in gas every year. I just don't know right now that that's a good use of the town's money. Although it would be a very good asset to have. So it's up to y'all how y'all want to do this. I think PSA Klein, can you, I mean, if y'all would be able to utilize a vehicle. Right.
See that? Just never know. Vehicles are good condition. We don't know. We keep them
keeping up maintenance on and all that, so it's always nice to have a spare. I've reached out to the Oklahoma City Police Department and a few other places about taking any kind of scraps they might have, or just something to have if it's in dire need. Tough time. I mean, it's always a tough time to do things like that, so. Yeah, it'd be great to have one. The town's other needs are more important this time, and that's understood also.
Okay.
Well, I'm not really answering much. Yeah, I'd love to have the car, love to have the spare. We might do.
Thank you.
So Brandon, you're basically telling us lean toward the option B makes more sense for now. Let's see where we end up with this catastrophe. We'll spend another 30 grand.
I think if you lean towards option B, if we come out in 90 days and
Right.
we aren't in a bad spot, then
Come back
we
to
can
it.
come back and say, we're gonna buy the truck. And so, or we can go with the simple GSA route all day, every day. That would end up costing the town more money as well.
Whatever you think's fair to you. I mean,
That's
it needs to be
what's fair to the town.
Well, if you're using your own vehicle, if that'll cover it. I agree with you on you don't know where you're at and you don't know how big a check you're gonna have to write next week. So that's, and the next 90 days, get that fixed. So it seems like that'd be prudent to.
I know we've already had one invoice come in this week for 7,700. 7,000, okay, 7,000 is
For the
one
pump?
invoice. Yeah, no, that's for the pump truck. That's not even the pump. So we still got the pump coming. So it's going to be costly.
This is not the place to talk about that, but they've drilled down exactly. They didn't just come in and say, y'all need all this brand new, did they?
No, sir.
So that's another project. I'm open to purchasing another vehicle. Let's postpone that for, till the first of the next calendar year. Reevaluate it based on where we are with the budget, going into the second half of the year. So with that, I would, make a motion to approve option B to increase, Administrator Wanzig's vehicle allowance by $150 to $300, for use of his personal vehicle.
Votes, Joe,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
and Tony is absent, carries 2-0.
Thank you. For consideration of possible action of ordinance number 2026-801, declaring a temporary moratorium on the acceptance, processing, and issuing of zoning changes, building permits, and development applications for data centers within the corporate limits of the town of Washington. So this is a hot topic on the news regarding data centers. Well, this would probably be an immediate no for issuing water, not permit, but what's right?
Tap.
Issuing a water tap. But this would put a pause on any data center conversations for a period of 12 months. That this ordinance would expire at the last day of June unless extended by the trustees. Or have we been approached by anybody?
We have not. This is a request that was made by Trustee Brennan. He sent me an email and said that he would like an ordinance put in relatively quick. This was something that was fairly easy for me to type out. And so
I think it makes sense. I've tried to look into why they haven't approached small towns or places further out from the, from big city. And it's all due to the data transmission. I say it is, what little I learned. The data transmission speeds and lines wouldn't handle what they wanted, maybe this far out. The Piedmonts and the places Yukon obviously would, but I think it would be smart to cover it before it came up.
Yeah, and they're also looking for towns that, for water providers that have the capacity. And this area does not have the capacity. We would be getting any of the municipalities that potentially support a data center are either having water constraints of their own, or they're getting the water from Oklahoma City, and Oklahoma City would have to prove that they're not.
But the kind of money they're spending, we could probably get several wells done.
Yes, so now they could come in and say, we're gonna
But
we're gonna provide for ourselves plus some, if you
Yeah.
guys will take over the system.
100,000,
Potentially,
you know,
but-
royalties.
But maybe that's one of the interested parties in Mr. Collins's, property on the corner over there.
I don't know if one of these lines is gonna work. That's his plan.
So the cattle data center.
He's calling it, he's calling it an LLC, cattle.
That's not what's going in there, right? Yeah. So, with that, I don't have any objections to this. It's not, we can always still have conversations about it, and it would have to come before the board to make a decision. And that's one of the issues that have been happening in other towns is these data centers are going to staff, and specific board members
Make
to
deals.
get approval, and this would, that. Do I have a motion?
Yeah. Motion approved. That's your.
I'll second.
Joe?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 6, financial reports. Financial report presented by Town Administrator Brendan Wansing.
I believe I handed y'all in print form the, yes, thank you. Actuals versus, budget versus actuals. We're very conservative with our money. Right now, we're at 0% pretty much across the board. We haven't spent enough money to even really hit the actuals yet. As far as funds go, when I took over this job, we had roughly $62,000 in the general fund. We're now up to $167,000. We are truly trying to be the best stewards of the town's money that we possibly can. I know that is due to a decrease in, town administrator salary from Micah to mine. And it shows. So I think if you look over the next 2 to 3 years, with our tax revenue the way it is, we do have a new business coming into town. And so we're going to add some extra tax revenue there as well. I do think the town is going to recover, and I think we're going to move forward. It's going to take a couple of years though. I think we've discussed before, I would like to see these accounts with $300,000 to $400,000 each in them. I'd like to see the fire department's account $50,000-$60,000 in it. And I think we're going to get there. We're all working together very well. The fire department had some comments in the auditor's portfolio, and we have actually, Chief Brazil and I have worked together. We have now gotten them P cards per their request. So they have credit cards that are town issued now, not just debit cards from the bank account. Those P cards allow them to purchase an item and then directly input their receipts. And for my benefit, they get to categorize those on their own. So I don't have to go back and do that on the back side of it. And so we have also started doing monthly financial reports at their meetings as well. And we did one last night so that each one of their firefighters know exactly where they sit with money. As far as the PWA goes, JC is doing a great job with the PWA accounts. He is very frugal with his money. He is doing a wonderful job on trying to get things warranted instead of just paying to have them fixed. And he's a really good hand when it comes to maintenance. So we're not having to fix, we're not going to have to fix as much later on down the road. What I will say though, is we do have a pretty big hit coming up with the sewer lift station. We have already started seeking out emergency grants through ORWA, ORWB. We've been denied for both of those because they said this is a failing infrastructure problem, not an emergency issue. So now we're looking at restructuring our rig and REAP grant to maybe cover some of that. What's going to happen is when you do that, we're going to have to lose the equipment that our Public Works Administration desperately needs as well. So, at some point you're going to have to find the money to come up with the excavator and skid steer that JC needs to be able to effectively do his job. So it's a give and take on both of those. We have received the fire department grant this year of $476,000. We are starting September 1st. The grant will hit our account for the IT services. That's $204,000. And then we wrote a grant in combination with the fire department that we actually just received wording today that we got for $32,000 to finish purchasing. I know you wanted all new bunker gear for the firefighters to be able to be PFAS certified. I wrote that grant last month with Justin by my side, and that grant was accepted. We have to pay 20% of that, but they're going to cover 80%. So at Department of Ag will cover, and ASCOG will cover 24,000 and some change, and we have to come up with the extra 7. So we're moving forward on grants. We just got to figure out what we're going to do with the sewer lift station financially and where we're going to go with the roads.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any questions, James, from you?
Mhm.
Nope. 2 months in, we're looking good so far. We know there's big cost things are coming up down the line, so we'll just pivot, adjust, and go from there. So one thing for everybody to take note on is, as you can see up here, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 different accounts as part of improving our accounting procedures. We'll begin to consolidate our accounts, our bank accounts. We'll still have this fund management. So like for under general fund, we'll begin to move, or actually public works is a little better example. Under public works, we'll begin to consolidate some of those 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, 4 accounts into 1 or 2 accounts. To one, simplify how many times we have to move money back and forth between accounts. All that money, while the accounts may be consolidated, all that money still will be managed in a fund fashion with it's already detailed out in the budget that was approved. But that will help to minimize the tracking of how money's going from one account to the next and back and forth. So that was one of the findings as part of the audit that we need to improve upon. Our goal over the past couple of years while waiting on this audit was just to stay stagnant until we receive formal confirmation from the auditors on some paths forward, so that we weren't changing things in the middle of the audit and having to untie some of those accounting practices. But a lot of attention will be placed over the next several months for the rest of the calendar year on improving our financial reporting and accounting practices and policies and procedures. So thanks for everything again.
Can I throw one more caveat in here? Our trustee Andrews, what you're talking about with the overdue water bills, and if I were to have the ability to help people out from time to time, my charity account, which is 7619, only has $213 in it. Currently, there are only 3 people that do the Roundup program in the entire city. If you are willing and able to, rounding up an extra 50 or 60 cents a month, it's not going to hurt some people. But 336 or 9, 336. It may not hurt some people to do 50 or 60 cents a month, but it sure could make a difference in somebody's life if you would do it. So that would give us the ability to really help some of those people out that are struggling, that truly need the help.
And how do people sign up for that?
You can give us a call down at Town Hall. We will change your account to the Roundup program or the H2O program. What that does is, let's say your bill is $110.50. We would round that up to $111, and that extra 50 cents would go into the H2O program to help cover costs for people that can't necessarily pay their water bill. You could still round up your sewer bill.
And this is administered by Delta Transit, Delta Community Action Program, same organization that we do our food delivery service through. So those requests may come through the town hall, or we would then just forward those on to Delta Community Action, and then they'll review the needs and then distribute.
That's who reviews the needs for the
Yes.
person applying for the help. I got you.
Just try to remove some of the.
Sure. Third party.
Yeah. So that's at no cost to the town for them to do that. All right, anything else on financials?
No, sir.
All right. Item 7, town administrator, staff, and trustee reports. Starting off with fire department report presented by Fire Chief Justin Brazil.
Updated you guys on grant processes. That's for the year that we got. That's gonna give us, we're gonna focus on trying to 7 assessment, and then following probably around January, February next year, we're going to deliver another 6 to 8 grants. And that will get us into a rotational period, so next time we're not hit that entire process.
Okay.
Just to follow up with that. For the month of July, we ran a total of 26 calls. 8 of those were fire calls, 5 of them were hazardous situation, 13 medical, and then we had 1 public service. We've also got 1 fire member that is getting ready to close out his firefighter one class. We've got an intern that we entertained last night that we're looking at taking on from the high school and to support them through their career path. And we have got, Brandon wants to take out a notification. The company repairing the fire hydrants completed the last repair beginning of the month.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So all the fire hydrants have been repaired, they're up par. Over the next couple of months, the fire department is going to go out and repaint those. They did come in with a pretty hefty bill. They wanted $3,000. I think it's
$62 per fire hydrant, and I think there's 36 fire hydrants.
We discussed this, and I said that's not a bill that I think the city should have to pay. We can get together, get some paint bought, and we'll go out and do it. Other than that, that's all I've got. Any questions?
One thing I'd add to that is that with school yesterday, going through the school halls with the different programs and student action committees, that if you ever need volunteers for service projects like repainting hydrants, to reach out to the high school or the middle school, and they have kids looking for activities to do all the time. So it's something that could be helpful, especially like around the school potentially. Yeah. So let me know if I can help. Otherwise, just reach out to Robin. I'm sure she can get you in touch with the right person. Okay. Cool.
Thank you guys.
Thanks. All right. Police and code enforcement report presented by Public Safety Administrator Clay Klein.
Thank you for having me. Honored to be here. It's my first one. So I'm gonna keep it under 2 hours. School first one. That's something. Calls for service, 14 police calls for service, 9 fire department assist. So like we had 7 incident reports, 64 traffic stops, which resulted in 20 citations, 54 written warnings, 9 verbal warnings. That's the stats. I'm not a huge stats guy. I know they're important. The exciting things that are happening here, met and greeted many citizens, mainly kids. Started out with a roll of 600 stickers, and I had about half left until last night. Up now, so I'm getting pretty low now. So I'm trying to get out and meet with people. Most people know who I am, or see me around or whatever. So it's been nice to make this personal contact. Getting to meet the fire department, great group of guys. There's no purer heart than the heart of a volunteer. Talked multiple times with Mr. Reynolds, Superintendent Reynolds, just about school safety issues and meeting with him and both the SROs. I know both of them, Terry, the new ones, retired captain from OHP, Oklahoma Highway Patrol. Got to talk with him today and reconnect. We've been friends for years. He's a great fit up there, be an asset. Of course, I know Deputy Children, so everybody here does, I'm sure, at this point. So kind of walked through the school some today, trying to get the layout of it. They've changed it up. My wife was top 3rd grade there for somewhere around 20 years. I didn't mess up that time, but something like that. So there's been a lot of changes. Just want to get the layout for security issues, things like that. God forbid anything does happen. Was honored to be at the open house last night. Talked to a lot of people. It was a madhouse. I'm sure there's a lot of people there at 6 in the morning ready to drop the kids off. A lot of anxieties. All other teachers. We'll get through it. So it's super important. I've met Mr. Holmes today and talked to him. It was nice. He's very, very on board with what we're doing. So said we want to be more involved with the school, and they're happy to have that. Kind of linked to that, somewhat separate. I talked with the First Baptist Church and multiple citizens about the Muslim Mentors program that started in Oklahoma City, the police department, and bringing that down here. A couple of people, actually a couple of citizens right out here last week called me aside and said it was being talked about out there. They're super excited about that. I hope it could be something. I talked to Chief possibly involved in not just, it's not just a police thing or even just a town thing or a fire thing or a church thing or even a school thing. Like, the community can come together. Oftentimes, when you don't have one entity that's running it, it could be, I think it could be a really a magic thing that could help some kids here. Brandon and I, Administrator Watson and I, teamed up, came up with, and applied for a COPS grant with the assistance of a wonderful woman named Sherry Snyder from down in Oregon. We've applied for that, so fingers crossed. We've increased our police by one, which doesn't sound like a ton, but that's 33% increase. That's a big deal. The town will be on the hook for 20%, and the government will be on the hook for 80%. It's a pretty good deal. Pretty good deal. Taser holster issue has been solved. It is good. The Tahoe has been marked. It's out there. Feel free to look around it. I hope everybody likes it. We think it's a good representation of the town. And we're proud of it. I know the fire department's got some things that we're working on there. Maybe have a little continuity and have it look similar and just really take pride in what we all take pride in anyway. I'm in the beginning stages of implementing a Washington Police Department Reserve program. It's been about 27 years ago, I put on the Reserve Academy as a coordinator myself. Really enjoyed that. It kind of goes back to the peer volunteer. I think we can utilize that on the police side also. We're just, focused that just kind of, everybody's just trying to do right. We're on the same page and go together. Talked with about 5 or 6 folks from here, from this community, that are super interested, solid people. Not going to be pulling people over 89th and Shields with their badge or anything like that. Professional folks will be very capable. Excited about that. And honestly, in closing, I just want to thank everybody for letting me be here. I love everybody I worked with. Sherry, Administrator Wanzik, JC, Colin, Ruben. Miss somebody. Everybody's been great. Citizens are wonderful. It makes it worth it. I had some anxiety coming down here. After leaving that place up there for so long. I'm honored to be here. I appreciate it. Anybody needs me, easy phone call, flag me down. I'm easy to find. If you can't find me, go to the 3rd grade. That's my boss. She'll hunt me down. Anybody have any questions?
On the reserve program, do you kind of have a timeline on when you like to get something up and running? Or?
Well, it's easy to say the first of the year. It's always a quick answer. I'd like to get more quicker than that. Strike while the iron's hot. The folks I've talked to grew up here, live here, or from here, and part of this community. So, and they seem very anxious about it, very excited. We're looking at there's some small budgetary issues I think we're going to overcome. I'm letting myself adapt from the old ways, which is a certain level of equipment, a certain level of look and all that, command bearing. We're still going to have that. I believe we can achieve that. Just hate to call it the new way. I'm like an old guy going to do that, but it's kind of the way things are going. I would love to start it, I don't know, maybe October or something like that. The Reserve Academy is approximately 3 months, I believe, 2 nights a week. Similar, it appears to be similar to Fire Navy or EMT. And then a couple of weekend days on firing range, driving track, probably some control offensive tactics training. And they're ready to go. I mean, you never really ready to go. There'll be some field training things afterward and then continuing education. But they can function as a fully functioning full-time police officer at the same time any police officer does.
And so would these be reserve officers?
Reserve officers. They would look like us. They will act like us. I mean, there'll be a standard there, and I believe that the people we have identified hold to that standard. That's the last thing we want is last thing I want. Radio's It's, I usually imagine a set of keys. It's kind of how it was when I started. I was 21. And looking back, it's kind of scary, really. But we made it. These guys were so professional and enjoy it themselves.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, town clerk's report presented by Administrator Sherry Revere.
Oh, okay, sorry, my bad.
We have firefighter Justin Brazil and Administrator.
Mine is really short and sweet, like, so I can't hold a candle to yours.
I need to go short, sorry.
I just had a class last week, Fort Worth class. It was a great class. Some people had recognized there 30 years, received pins for 30 years, said that they learned something every year they go. And just from the presentations we got really good presentations from people in the community. So I got through with that. This next week, I will have a clerk and treasurer training, just here virtual. And look forward to that. So mostly I have been just adjusting to the office, trying to find things and recognize the filing that we need, and actually look forward, which probably Brandon is not, the auditor coming, telling us dues dumps and needs that we need on Thursday. So that's fun.
Thank you. Anything you need from the board? Anything we need to talk to Brandon about? Thank you. All right, administrator report presented by town administrator Brandon Watson.
So I've already covered most of everything that we've been doing this month, but we did do some grant writing classes, which they've actually been paying off. We've been working on the cybersecurity grant. I don't think, now looking at it, that we're going to use all $204,000 that was initially budgeted. Kind of like the Clarion software. We don't need everything that was given to us. We have found a different path or different avenue that is going to save the town maybe even $100,000. So we're going to move on those areas with the cybersecurity grant. ORWA rate, water rate study. Mayor, you asked about it. We've already ordered it. We're just waiting on the grant for ORWA to get in. And it'll be interesting to see where they're at there. We have met with DEQ more times than I want to meet with DEQ in my lifetime. They have been super friendly and super unfriendly, both at the same time. They're pretty cool people. I went to Moore Norman with PSA Klein, taught a below 100 class for their national company. We've met with the Department of Homeland Security. So it's a really cool thing. Because of our recent audit, the Department of Homeland Security has now considered us a at-risk municipality. So it's like they think we're going to steal money. But the cool thing about that is now that we're an at-risk municipality, they're going to come down and audit our grants every 6 weeks. So every 6 weeks, I get to sit with a member of Department of Homeland Security and make sure I'm not stealing money from the town. It's awesome.
Those relationships.
It's great relationship.
Was that in the job description? when you took the
Stir, it was not. Throw that out there. It's actually, it was kind of interesting. The guy that walked in my door was my traffic partner for about 6 years in my career. So it was a pretty good time to get to hang out with him for a couple hours. PSA client got to meet him. He handed out some coins and we handed him some coins back. I also have a list from Trustee Brennan on some issues he wanted addressed. So I'll read these off the list and then check mark what we have done on this. Ordinance addressing data centers, we've got that taken care of. Ordinance addressing squatting and squatters. I will get this addressed. I have not compiled a list of, because just like any good cop, right? I'm going to go steal stuff from other places. Just not your money, I promise. I am going to take all of the surrounding areas and get their squatting ordinances, and then I'm going to try to design something that best suits Washington.
On that, do we have an issue with that?
No, we
Okay.
don't,
So it's
no.
preventative.
Yeah, this is just completely preventative.
Okay.
He also wanted to know if there was a water meter at the Little League fields. We have now found out there is not. And so there is no real, that actually may be where some of your water's missing.
Very close.
Yeah.
Okay, I just thought about that.
So we've talked about
That's
this
a
multiple
city.
times with Micah, with TR to get him down there so we can have more accurate water loss
So
study and
we-
see if there's a leak.
I will actually, if, Mr. Haynes, if you'll stand up and address this real quick, because I don't know the ins and outs of it. Can you kind of tell us why it's super hard to put a water meter down there?
So, I currently, the little thing there is, big boxes. My issue with it is I know that at some point in time, I have the water lines broke in there. There's no lagoon is there. So there's no telling where these are all going to tie into, or if they're all tied together. That would be the only, that would be the hard part. I think is figuring out where all these.
You'd have to install more than one meter, obviously. Yes, correct. And you're not sure how many.
Yes.
If there's, say, just one line feeding that whole water, there could be multiple lines coming in. from
Yeah,
different
there's
directions.
at least.
Okay.
We found lines down.
Does it make sense at all to put meters on those four somewhere? You said that there's valves, but not meters.
Correct, yeah, there's valves and meters. It would be fine if we could do it, it would give you an idea of where some of that water loss could possibly be at. But if it's all looped in or tied in, you shut one off, but it's not like you're still gonna be reasonable.
Okay.
So there's no real, you have to figure out what water.
Okay.
loss.
So-
it's tied in.
So what would be your suggestion on that? To leave it as is, to do it, or?
It would hurt to go ahead and put meters in where it boxes. At least start with that
Yeah.
and then.
Okay.
What do these cost?
$3,300 per meter.
So, food for thought. Okay.
Purchasing a shade canopy for existing structure at the Little League fields. I have not been able to call him. He's out of town and figure out what he exactly means by that. So we'll table that.
I assume that there's between the kid pitch field and the softball, t-ball field, there's frame there.
We just need a shade.
There's no
Okay.
cover for it.
I'll run down there Thursday. I'm taking off for my kiddo's first day of pre-K and my wife's crying session all day tomorrow. She'll be a little emotional. Yeah. Purchase additional table and seating from the prison, remove unserviceable tables and seatings from the fields. What he means by that is at the Memorial Park, we have purchased new park benches, new picnic tables, and new seating areas, as well as new trash receptacles. Down there, those have not come in yet, but he wants to purchase those for the Little League field as well. What I would recommend to the board, that is a wonderful idea. I think it needs to be done, and I think people could really utilize that stuff, but I really just don't like spending that kind of money this early in the budget. I think waiting until March or April to see where we're at with some of those discretionary funds is really a good idea there.
I think what we also need to do is, I need to have a sit down with with WASA. They owe us an annual report. They haven't submitted that in yet, and maybe something like that we can bring up to them as a need, and maybe they pay for it if there's not any capital improvements that are needed. Every year they're in part of the agreement, they're required to contribute $2,500 a year in capital improvements, not just maintenance, but improvements. We could talk about that being, if that's something that they feel like is a need, that could be something there.
Okay, what is the secondary plan for the water tower if state funding is denied? I think he means if congressional funding, federal market funding. And then what is the plan for going to a water supply what is the plan for moving to supply water to the early elementary buildings that are planned to be built with the next bond? So on that one, we already know what the plan B is, moving the water tower. As far as additional structures at the school. It is my understanding that they're looking at doing another bond to build additional structures. It is also my understanding that talking with the engineers, we are not going to have the water to supply those structures.
Yeah.
So we may need to look at, as we're doing this engineered report, to see if we can get better deals on the water tower. We may need to look at how much extra money it would cost us to increase it by 100,000 or 50,000, whatever it's going to take.
Could combine this federal money with another grant
Absolutely.
as a contributing factor to expand that.
Yes, sir.
Would be an option, but yeah, that's probably something we need to talk with the engineers about or the school about and say, we don't have a plan for you guys, and they're going to have to include that in their bond cost. It's putting in water capacity resolution.
I mean, we do have a water tower that has been donated to us. We just got to figure out a way to get it to Washington.
Maybe any Chinooks that could
I'm,
figure it out.
I mean, I've got
Clay,
Clay and myself.
Caravan or
It's 50 foot
Motorcade.
wide.
I actually said that. That's.
So to let y'all in, Purcell has offered to donate their North Water Tower to the town of Washington. That North Water Tower holds 1.7 million gallons of water. It truly would be enough water for us to have 20 square miles of land. The problem with it is that the circumference of the water tower is 50 feet. And under Oklahoma Department of Transportation, you cannot move anything more than 36 feet on a public roadway. So if anybody knows anybody that flies some Chinooks that we can hook onto the top of it and just put it right back over here, it'd be great. I personally thought Clay could just lift it and carry it, but
Well, we discussed like 3 to 1 deal. That's not my family. This is a need.
The police officer's talking about it. I mean,
Only other recent thing that's come up for us to consider is, sounds like there's been some more food trucks that have had interest in coming down here. Beth and I had discussed opening up the park, if
Okay.
people want to set up there. We had talked about there being a high voltage connection down there. I don't remember if that was actually done or if we just talked about it and it wasn't, but
there is a fuse panel down there. I want to say there is a 30 amp connection. I don't think there's a 50.
I told someone that has a property there that we could probably do
well,
put some
that-
concrete pads and some nice electric outlets.
so food for thought if, just make it a little, like they do up in Oklahoma City, the little gravel lots. So there is some interest, so just that may send people your way
Okay.
about that to talk about what can they do or where can they set up. So, that's all I got. All right, anything else from you, any reports? No? All right, lastly, public comments. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. So as part of public comments, this is your opportunity to come to the board and staff to talk to us about, or I guess present to us about anything that's on your mind. It's limited to 3 minutes due to Open Meetings Act. At this time, we're not able to have a conversation back and forth, so anything you'll say will just be met with thank you for your comments. Not that I would love to have a conversation, we talk about it afterwards, but just because of the meeting, that's the way it has to go. So anything anybody would like to discuss or talk about? Anything anybody would like to present to? No. All right. Yeah. Yes. Go ahead.
So I want to address what we're talking about here. I think it's so important. We're talking about putting volunteer fire department. I don't know, talking to a couple different people, where I'm at, length of service and things. We look at some of those towns like, say, Alliance, or Stratford, or Dibble. What this is mean statewide in retention and recruitment of firemen. Our average age of firemen is where we're not meeting the pension requirement. I mean, we talk about Goldie, you sit down with those guys, they've got 7, 8 guys eligible for retirement, Washington the same way. We give these young guys a true opportunity to see something positive. And I want to thank you guys for listening and improving the way you did. It's truly, it's heartfelt. I appreciate Brandon looking out for that. Yeah, I put the mind to like whatever 17 months was, 25 years in, and I'm like, okay, you're telling me I have to go 3 years rested, and I'm gonna stay extra time to get $800. So it really doesn't affect me, but we, Justin Brazil, and the fire department came together last night, and we did vote that all of us are going to protect this option. We would put forward together, so all of us put in our room check. So I know that I'll never receive another, and, you know, we were at a point in the fire department for many years, we didn't know we were getting a room check. And I can tell you, you know, we've had those conversations in the past. We didn't know if we was going to get it or not. And it was tough to carry back to the guys. It was a constant question. Are we getting our own checks? You know, it's tough to look at somebody and say, you're a true volunteer, you're doing it for money, this is the wrong spot to do it. But I am so confident in what we have done and our administration and the roles that we fill that we can take that and it's on the right way. It's a huge step forward. And I feel like we didn't say that, and I don't think it's so up for those guys.
Thanks. Justin, you have
I
something?
was just, I'm following up on him, same thing, I wanted to speak out and say thank you guys for not only entertaining and approving that, but Brandon, thank you for all the labor and hours you put into figuring out how that impacted. I think that's gonna make a huge difference in the town for years to come.
Thank you. All right, anybody else? All right, action item 9, executive session. I don't have anything to enter executive session. No action. Item 10, we have addressed all action items. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
All right, I shall second. Meeting adjourned, 8:10.
Thanks, everybody, for sitting through that.
Mr. Collins, I'll do it before I leave.
No, I'll be here for you.
Yeah, you can pull up and then. It's to do here, and for like everyone based on the. Okay, so that was my concern, that we didn't pass education. What I thought was. What I thought was going to be our own local authorized education to be added for this purpose. We just haven't. Resolution. Probably just hold it proceeding, and then you have it in time to be on, with the right, with last statement. Or I could probably come in during my. So you give us the long, you should have that. Yeah, but yes, it is, but I don't.
In New York, 16. Get that. Either way, I can have So I could see.
These are very nice.
We couldn't compete with them. So everybody showed up. I said, you can't have to, I was literally standing in here with no one taking down names. And so I said, I don't think they could judge, and I was talking to them. I would recommend, or I would like to do. And so it's very busy.